Selected ones, prepare yourselves. What I'm about to reveal is no coincidence. You are here in this moment for a reason. Something incredible is unfolding in your life, and the world is taking notice. They may throw stones, but all they are doing is building the foundation for the throne you are meant to sit on. While they drown in resentment, you drink from the cup of destiny. They know, deep down, they were never meant to wear the crown. That's why they despise you. But you were chosen. You were set apart, and you don't need permission to shine, just as a rising star never asks to be seen. Now, the whispers grow louder. The attention intensifies. They watch. They plot. They attempt to contain you, but it's too late. You move beyond their reach, beyond their limits. They call for a red notice, not because you are lost, but because you have become unstoppable. Pay close attention. You weren't selected for a typical existence. Simply by being yourself, you were supposed to stand out, to surpass them, and to cause them discomfort. Because they are unable to touch what was meant to be yours, their envy is intense. The universe is recording every false praise, backhanded comment, lie, trick, or trap they lay, as well as every effort to obstruct your progress. Whoever has to be taught a lesson is always remembered by karma. They are frightened by your strength because they can't stop you, not because you're noisy or showy. Under pressure, you remain resilient. You come back stronger each time they believe they have cornered you. They are insanely resilient like that. Every plan they devise just serves to increase the sweetness of your wins, and your success is like salt on their wounds. To put it plainly, you are not the antagonist in their tale. They are the ones who planned their own demise. Their own problems become worse the more they attempt to obstruct your benefits. They are just making the cage tighter around themselves with every ounce of energy they spend attempting to drag you down. Karma precisely administers justice in addition to punishing, and it won't be silent when the time comes. It will be noisy. There will be no denying it. Although they believed their envy to be a weapon, it was really a curse. Consider this: enduring their hatred for you is like to consuming poison and anticipating your suffering. As you continue to climb, they are digging their own graves. That's what being selected implies. You are an uncontrollable force and an undimmed brightness. They get more lost the more they fixate on you. The irony is that they are the ones undermining their own development while they want for you to fail. While you continue to go ahead like an unstoppable force, jealousy distorts their judgment and keeps them mired in the same cycle of resentment. And that's what really irritates them. No assault against you will ever be successful because of your very existence. They secretly wish they were you, but they chose to despise rather than take lessons from you. They want to remain in the shadows rather than develop. That's what separates you from them. They are imprisoned by their own jealousy. You were selected. Let them speak then. Allow them to strategize. Give them reason to distrust you. Already the cosmos is working in your favor. It's their own acts that will bring them down, not your need for vengeance. They will not like what they see when they eventually gaze into karma, which is like looking into a mirror. Be steadfast, those you have selected. You can't decrease your light because it's too bright. Their envy serves only as fuel for the flames that will burn them alive. And I want to applaud you for standing strong. You, the unstoppable, unshakable, chosen one. Whether you have been on this trip for years or have just begun, your energy is what keeps this movement going. You must travel this route with confidence and strength. Show the world that you're prepared to take use of your full potential and climb above the crowd. Let's seize what is rightfully ours. Hit the like button and leave a 77 in the comments. Let's now dissect this in detail. You won't turn away if you're really selected. You'll sense it. This message is for you, and you will recognize it. Remain with me. First, a person always sinks twice as deep when they dig a trench for the selected. They tumble more forcefully the louder they laugh. Though the damage is much more severe than they ever anticipated, their plans invariably end them back where they started. They will be crushed by the weight of their jealousy, not because you retaliated, but because karma never fails. Karma is patient. It never works in a hurry. They unwittingly built a trap for themselves the instant they took action against you, whether it was via deception, coercion, or sabotage. You would never be harmed by their deceit. It was always intended to work against them. That is the strength of selection. The cosmos defends you in ways that are beyond their comprehension. The irony is that karma exposes their falsehoods in public light rather than just bringing them down. When the truth comes to light, the same people who formerly applauded them, trusted what they said, and made fun of you will be the ones watching. Those same individuals will turn their backs on them as they see the masks coming off. Nothing is more devastating than a reputation that is eroding due to its own dishonesty. You don't have to be as good as they are. Their games are not necessary for you to play. You continue to rise as people rush about attempting to obstruct your way. Why? Because they cannot understand the protection that comes with being selected. Karma is ensuring that they fall into their own traps as they spend time attempting to bring you down. Imagine this. Karma is the tide, and their schemes against you are like sandcastles at the ocean's edge. The waves constantly sweep in and wash everything away, no matter how hard people try to hang on. It's just the way the world operates. It's not retaliation. Their energy constantly returns, and when it does, it strikes at the ideal moment. Perhaps they sit there and ask themselves, "Why isn't this working? Why am I unable to remove them?" The response is straightforward. You are impenetrable. They will never comprehend the higher purpose for which your soul is destined. While their own jealousy drags them down even further, every effort to stop you just makes you stronger. What's even great is that karma loves a following. It ensures that everyone can see, not just those in private. Those who attempted to hurt you will be brought to justice by the same people who questioned you and made fun of you. In front of everyone they attempted to deceive, their falsehoods will be exposed. That's what it means to be selected. You flourish despite their assaults rather than just surviving them, and everyone who watches learns a lesson from their failure. The justice of karma is not silent, it's not nuanced. It is indisputable, loud, and unavoidable. They won't be able to hold you responsible when their whole universe collapses. They will have to acknowledge that they were always their own worst enemy. What's the greatest part? Seeking retribution was never necessary. You were never required to lower yourself to their level. Karma took care of the rest as you remained steadfast and committed to your course. That is the strength of selection. You're elevated in addition to being protected. Every assault on you becomes a new starting point for your path. Each falsehood they tell weighs them down even more. So let them observe. Allow them to sit there, irritated, wondering why their schemes didn't work out. Karma has ensured that their demise will be as loud as their previous level of jealousy. Their sadness will reverberate for a far longer time than their laughing did. How about you? You will remain upright, still doing well, still selected. Because ultimately, your success is the last stroke that completes the painting that is karma, and their failure is its masterpiece. Your love motivates us to provide meaningful material just for you, dear chosen ones. Your generosity keeps us going and means the world to us. I appreciate you being such a wonderful support system. They begin to realize that your power is a mirror of their own fears rather than just a coping strategy. Their discomfort becomes intolerable as the contrast between your unshakable dignity and their festering resentment becomes more apparent. The seamless application of karma is what gives it its real power. You don't have to take revenge, descend to their level, or retaliate. While they continue to be caught in their own cycle of jealousy, the universe takes care of it for you, showcasing your progress and resiliency. They foresaw your failure, anticipating you to behave rashly, get distracted, or break under their influence. Instead, they are compelled to see your continuous ascent, accomplishing much more than they could have ever dreamed. Your achievement is indisputable and is based on self-respect, discipline, and endurance, rather than dishonesty or devastation. And they know it in their hearts. They feel it, even if they may never say it out loud. Their envy was a shackle that bound them to mediocrity each time they failed and missed an opportunity, because they were too focused on your advancement rather than their own. That discovery is not just humbling, but completely devastating as you keep on moving ahead with purpose. Karma not only makes them think, but it also makes them face the unpleasant reality that they sabotaged themselves rather than only trying to hurt you. They might have improved their own lives with every ounce of energy they squandered attempting to extinguish your brightness. Now, however, all that remains of them is the weight of sorrow. They now have to face the hard reality of seeing you prosper on the exact road they attempted to block. Respect is now the sole choice available to them. It is no longer an option. They can no longer dispute the effectiveness of your strategy, not because they've suddenly changed their minds or become your staunchest supporters. They will learn a valuable lesson from your capacity to rise above their techniques without becoming involved in their pettiness. They start to see that their biggest weakness was the conceit they had held on to, and that their greatest strength was their self-respect. This win doesn't need words for you. It is a quiet victory, evidence that you always succeed when you remain loyal to your objective. It is a painful reckoning for them, a sobering reality check that upends their whole sense of authority. Karma not only humbles them, but also fundamentally alters their perception, demonstrating to them that respect is not something that can be won, but rather must be earned. And that fact will be with them for the rest of their life, whether they like it or not. The clock of karma never moves quickly. When they least expect it, it happens. Karma uses it precisely, and the slowest blade cuts the deepest. Karma is patient, in contrast to your adversaries, who act in a state of desperation and rush to undermine you at any time. As it waits, it determines the ideal moment to impart its lesson, making sure that the effect is permanent when it does. The beauty of karma is that it guarantees that their fall will be as dramatic as their previous haughtiness was, in addition to bringing everything back into balance. It's almost lyrical in its irony. They go about their lives thinking they are winning and persuading themselves that no one has observed their plots and manipulations. They get at ease with their fleeting achievement and revel in the delusion that their dishonesty would not have any repercussions. Karma, however, has been subtly laying the groundwork all along, letting them get to the pinnacle of their complacency before dragging them down. And when it does occur, it is complete destruction rather than only a little annoyance. They are left with nothing but the rubble of their own transgressions as the earth underneath them collapses. Karma makes sure that its lesson is both memorable and very personal by striking where it hurts the most. Perhaps they lose a connection they can never rebuild, an opportunity they will never regain, or their hard-earned reputation that is now irreparably damaged. It is expressly designed to compel people to reflect on themselves, regardless of the outcome, to help them realize that every setback they encounter is a direct consequence of their own decisions. Petty retaliation is not the point of this. Karma is meant to make sure people fully comprehend the consequences of their acts, not to degrade them. Furthermore, this lesson leaves a lasting impression that extends far beyond the immediate moment. It is not only a slap on the wrist. At last they stand back and inquire, "How did I get here?" The explanation will always come back to their own choices, their dishonesty, their resentment, and their unrelenting fixation on your demise. And you keep rising, unmoved and unconcerned, while others gather up the broken remains of their foolish deeds. Karma makes sure that the chosen ones are protected, that the darkness that others try to pour upon them doesn't dim their brightness. There is no denying the disparity. You climb gracefully as others spiral in self-inflicted chaos. Karma is the merciless collector, and jealousy is a bill they cannot afford. Unaware that the expense would shatter them when it came time to pay, they signed this contract in invisible ink. Their jealousy was a gradual poison that ruined their lives from the inside out. It was never only a harmless feeling. Every time they let envy rule their lives, they were actively building their own demise rather than just savoring a transient resentment. And a debt is never forgotten by karma. Envy has a hefty price, but it is also unavoidable. They persuaded themselves that their jealousy was within their control and that their animosity against you was warranted. Jealousy, however, is never passive. It permeates their minds, impairs their judgment, and destroys any chance of true pleasure. And the most heartbreaking aspect? They never even got to you with the negativity they portrayed. It resurfaced, growing stronger until it was a destructive force in their own lives. It was like sowing seeds in their own garden every time they spewed false information about you, planned an attack on you, or said something resentful behind your back. However, those seeds matured into an overabundance of self-inflicted anguish, rather than blossoming with achievement. They were really undermining themselves, even if they believed they were working against you. Their infatuation with observing your every action merely served to keep them immobile, caught in a never-ending loop of comparison and oblivious to their own abilities. How about you? You didn't get touched. Your trip was not derailed by their rumors. Your brightness was not dimmed by their gloom. Your success was fueled by every ounce of energy they put into resenting you. They unwittingly made you more resilient, accelerated your advancement, and further cemented your position. That is the strength of selection. What is meant to shine cannot be broken by outside forces. Karma is a long-term player. It takes time to administer justice. It allows individuals to dwell on their sorrows, allowing their own jealousy to erode their tranquility, friendships, and sense of value. The awful thing is that they are the ones with the key, but they are too blind to see it. Their envy turns into a prison. Every malicious deed they committed against you was a chain that was fastened around themselves, becoming stronger every time they felt hate. It's too late by the time they comprehend what has transpired. They are trapped in the wreckage of their own creation, unable to stop you from thriving. Furthermore, karma is ruthlessly collected when it does occur. They have caused irreparable harm to themselves. They cannot rebuild the bridges they destroyed in their petty outbursts. They cannot get back the time they lost because of their envy. In reality, they were ruining their own future, even if they believed they were undermining you. In the meanwhile, each time they tried to pull you down, it was merely a step toward your ascent. Their envy was like a hurricane that was supposed to shake you, but instead it strengthened your roots. Karma has the ability to transform their animosity into the very thing that drives you forward. The same obstacles they placed in your way served as a training ground for your fortitude. The falsehoods they disseminated just made you more accessible. Your ascension was driven by the energy they squandered attempting to break you. Karma also ensures that they see everything. The lesson they have to learn cannot be avoided. They will be right there to witness as every attempt they make to stop you fails miserably. You rose higher the more they attempted to bury you, while they struggled with the fallout from their own poison. You continue to be untouchable, a live example of the fact that someone who is meant for greatness cannot be stopped by jealousy, cunning, or malevolent purpose. Karma never fails to deliver, and when it does, the lesson it imparts is loud and clear. Karma moves with a precision that doesn't demand any effort from you and does it in silently. You don't need to take any action or look for retribution. Karma takes care of it for you, making sure that equilibrium is restored in the most poetic manner. It doesn't depend on big occasions or noisy altercations. Rather, it creates a web of repercussions so complex that those who intended to hurt you end themselves caught up in their own plans. They create traps for you, and those same traps end up being the things that trip them up. They thought they were in charge and had the advantage, but karma is always one step ahead and skillfully plans their demise. They were always aware of what they were doing to you. Each deception, deceit, and jealous deed was meticulously documented, culminating in the moment when everything would work against them. And you ascend higher than ever, untouchable and unconcerned, while others suffer in silence. An audience is not necessary for karma. It doesn't look for praise or acceptance. It ensures that everyone eventually gets precisely what they deserve by operating quietly yet efficiently. The gradual poison that your adversaries voluntarily ingest because they think their obsession with you gives them strength is called obsession. In actuality, however, they become less self-centered the more they concentrate on you. They squander their energies observing your every action, dissecting every step, and wishing for your demise rather than achieving their own success. But you make progress while others obsess. You create while they sulk with jealousy. They get blinded by their infatuation and remain trapped in a never-ending cycle of regret and resentment. They resentfully observe your triumphs, failing to see that their focus just serves to elevate you. Instead, it becomes their burden, an anchor that holds them motionless while you soar, because the energy they put into bringing you down might have been utilized to uplift themselves. Karma intervenes to make sure their preoccupation turns into their penalty. Direct intervention is not necessary. Their misery was caused by their own decisions. They are too preoccupied with observing your possibilities to take advantage of their own. Their negativity drives others away, destroying bridges and connections. They get so focused on attempting to discredit you that they overlook the fissures that are beginning to appear in their own foundation. And it's too late when they eventually recognize the harm they've caused to themselves. The issue was never you. It was their incapacity to concentrate on their own path. However, by the time they realize this, they are left behind, watching you flourish while they continue to have the same resentment that prevented them from moving on in the first place. The more they attempt to obscure your light, the more their real character is revealed by karma. Jealousy is a weakness that poses as strength rather than a strength. Your opponents are angry with you because of what they lack, not because of what you have. Their attempts to undermine you only serve to expose their own fears. They lie to make others hate you, but karma makes sure the truth comes out in the most degrading manner possible. They propagate rumors that ultimately damage their reputation. They fall more forcefully the harder they press against you. All they did was set the stage for their own demise, yet they still wanted to see you fail. Karma has a way of exposing the truth when your adversaries least expect it. Their well-constructed facade starts to show its fractures. Their flaws are exposed for everyone to see. Those who once bought into their falsehoods begin to see through it, seeing that the target of their demonization was never the bad guy. They lose their credibility, and they are solely responsible for it. In the meanwhile, you keep rising. Their plots, their resentment, their last-ditch efforts to bring you down, all of them fall flat because you don't let their negative affect you. Every accomplishment you make serves as a quiet reminder to them of what they may have had if they had put more effort into developing themselves, rather than being fixated on you. The beauty of karma, however, is that it compels them to face the reality they have been evading all along, and they can't avoid it once they see it. They fired arrows at you, but they never made it to their target. Rather, they bounce about, coming back to them with deadly accuracy. The backfire effect is the masterwork of karma. They thought their plans were perfect and they were untouchable, but karma was always keeping an eye on them, waiting for the right opportunity to reverse the situation. The falsehoods they disseminate, the chances they attempt to seize, and the doors they attempt to shut in your face, all of these things ultimately come back to haunt them. They believe they have triumphed and have managed to make your life more difficult. However, as they rejoice over their seeming triumph, karma strikes with terrible precision. Any action intended to hurt you simply serves to hasten their demise. They are unaware that they were creating the screenplay for their own bad luck by releasing negativity into the environment. The doors that they slam shut on you end up being closed to them forever. Their inner loneliness stems from the trust they betrayed in others. In actuality, they were positioning themselves for their own demise, even if they believed they were planning your defeat. And the most vicious aspect? They never anticipate it. They think they can avoid the repercussions of their deeds, which is nearly absurd, yet karma never forgets. It waits for the ideal time, when they are most self-assured and arrogant, and then it hits hard. Retaliation is not the real penalty. It's seeing your success in spite of all they attempted. Your achievement turns into the lesson people are unable to avoid. You were strengthening yourself while they were intent on destroying you. It is now their only option to watch you ascend. By making you the live evidence that their efforts were in vain, karma makes sure they confront the truth of their decisions in the most unquestionable manner possible. You didn't need to defend yourself. It was not required of you to play their game. You still prevailed, however. The ultimate karmic lesson is that their jealousy revealed them, but it didn't ruin you. Their animosity just served to accelerate your advancement rather than halt it. You became stronger the more they attempted to shatter you, And now, all they have left is the knowledge that their own decisions, not yours, brought them to ruin. They need to take a lesson from the same guy they attempted to defeat. However, it is too late for them to alter their direction. They are stuck with the results of their own actions because they spent too much time concentrating on the wrong things. The justice of karma is exact and indisputable. Dramatic scenes and strong declarations are not necessary. It only guarantees that there is an equal and opposite response to every action. And you keep rising, unconcerned and unstoppable, while your adversaries try to comprehend why everything is crumbling for them. Let them observe. Let them ponder. Allow them to bear the consequences of their own decisions. Karma has spoken, and its message is unmistakable. Those who want to hurt other people will always be the ones who bring about their own destruction. Continue on your way. Continue to shine. Let karma take care of the rest. Therefore, your love motivates us to produce important material only for you, my dear chosen family. Your generosity keeps us going and means the world to us. I appreciate you being such a wonderful support system. We will always be appreciative of your support and affection. Thank you for viewing. See you in the next video. Goodbye and be careful till then.